Welcome back. Now let's talk about the four core principles of inventory management. This applies to any business, be it a large factory or a small cafe. The first is demand forecasting, and this is all about predicting future demands accurately to plan your inventory levels and replenish them effectively. So, for example, if you are selling an ice cream related product, the demand for that product will vary across different seasons. So it is expected to go up in summer and it is expected to decrease in the winter. So how do you forecast demand? Well, there are simple methods like looking at the past sales data, for example, moving averages, or more sophisticated techniques like ARIMA or time series methods. And generally speaking, demand forecasting can be a course in itself, since it's a complex topic. But generally speaking, you use a combination of techniques using time series methods as well as modeling your previous data using statistical distributions. For example, in this course, we will be using normal distribution to model demand using two parameters of mean and standard deviation. Next up is safety stock management. Think of it as your rainy day fund for your inventory. A small example to illustrate this is, imagine you have a business of selling toys to customers. During the holidays, demand can skyrocket and suppliers might face delays. So having safety stock ensures you don't run out of your hottest toys when the demand peaks. And how is safety stock calculated? Well, it's calculated based on mostly your service levels, your demand variability, and your lead time variability. Next up, we have the lead time management. And this is all about managing your supplier timelines. For example, if you own a coffee shop and your supplier takes 2 weeks to deliver beans, you need to plan ahead to avoid running out. The longer your lead time, the more safety stock you will need to cover demand during the waiting period. And lead time can be reduced by improving supplier delays as well as optimization of your transportation system and using more effective just-in-time approaches. Finally, let's talk about inventory policy selection. Inventory policy is your model which you apply to your inventory. It specifies how would you restock your inventory and on what time frame would the restocking work. For example, will it be on a continuous basis, like for certain critical items, or would it be based on a period, a set dedicated time period? And when talking about inventory policy, there are mostly two main types. There is either the continuous review or the periodic review. And continuous review basically means that if you are running, for example, a pharmacy, you track inventory levels daily, and as soon as a medicine stock hits a low level, you will initiate a reorder of a fixed amount. This policy works great for critical items where stockouts aren't an option. However, it is more complex to implement. Next up, we have the periodic review, which is basically reordering after a certain time period. So, for example, imagine you have a clothing store. Every Monday, you check your inventory levels and order enough to restock to a set level. This method is easier to manage, but risks stockouts between reviews. In this course, we would mostly be looking at the continuous review policy, and continuous review policy has two main parameters: the reorder level or the reorder point, and the economic order quantity or the reorder quantity. And typically speaking, these are actually set in your inventory management tools like ERP systems, for example SAP, where we program these parameters into the inventory module, and a whole series of orders are generated based on these two core parameters. In the upcoming lectures, we would look at the continuous review policy in more detail, as well as look into the reorder point or reorder level and the economic order quantity.